Hello and welcome to JMAC's Armies of Middle-earth. Today we're diving into the chilling wastes of the north with a deep look at Angmar and all their spooky new toys. But more than that, I want to ask, how do we really theme our orcs to make them feel Angmar-ish? Angmar-ish? Now, don't get me wrong, I absolutely love the Games Workshop orcs. I think the old plastics and metals are some of my first and most favourite models that I've ever owned. But they've never quite screamed Angmar to me. You know, just slapping green paint on Mordor orcs, it's not enough for me. And you know, we have now made it into, I think, almost 4 years of this channel, and I've never actually featured Angmar on this channel before, but funnily enough, it was way back when Anders Talks Hobbies was doing his Angmar project with all those awesome orcs and conversions and stuff that really made me start this channel. So this is a wee homage to the best orc creator on the whole platform. The custom kit bashes, the eerie vibe, you know, it just lit something up in me and I just had to start my own channel. So instead of the Games Workshop orcs, where did I go instead? So a friend once suggested something to me a while ago and it stuck. It was these Medbury hooded orcs. They look like they're in some kind of spooky death worshipping cult. Perfect for the most haunted faction in the game. So in this video I am going to break down this Angmar force and how you can do the same, and I'll show you why these hooded culty orcs just might be the upgrade your spooky army needs. So I also threw in some of the Medbury standard orcs for variety, because each of the hooded weapon types only has about 3 different poses, and you know what they say, variety is the spice of life. And hey, if you're not into 3D prints or don't have a printer, don't worry, this video is not just a print fest. I've also got some of the new Games Workshop Angmar models lined up for painting too. So here's my Angmar force. I've got the new Hill Trolls, Birder, about 35 orcs, 4 werewolves and 2 of the new Angmar heroes. It's a proper spooky lineup. Now I do get a lot of questions about what base coat you should use for certain armies and schemes, and honestly I think that's the wrong way to look at it. Instead, I like to ask what spray is right for this model specifically. See, I want the base coat to do the majority of the work, because let's be real, I'm a fat lazy cunt. So take these spooky boys for example, I hit them with a white spray since they're getting an ethereal light blue finish. Starting bright just makes the whole process easier. The orcs, of course, Hyrax brown. If I could only use one spray for the rest of my life, it would be this one. It's perfect for Middle Earth where everything's basically a different shade of brown anyway. And these wolves here are a great example, as they are the same type of model, but I've used 4 different base coat sprays. Why, you ask? So I can knock them out quickly without them all looking identical. I want my werewolves to all have an individualistic feel, so they're all going to have a different colour of fur. So pick your base spray like it's part of your colour scheme, not just the first step. It saves time and makes you look like you're a better painter than you probably are. Or maybe that's just me. Okay, so let's kick things off with these wolves because I've been itching to paint these bad boys. Plus they are the easiest, so it's a quick win. So as you can see here, I have given the rocks a base coat of storm vermin fur and painted all the bases with Rhinox hide, which I didn't film because I'm an absolute melon, sorry. Next up, an absolute drowning in Agarax Earthshade. It doesn't matter what colour the base coat is, everyone is getting soaked. Then we seal it all in with a matte varnish, because that glossy GW wash finish looks absolutely horrific. It just looks like they're still wet and it hasn't dried, and it drives me insane. After that, it was bedtime, but before I called it, I slapped on the basing texture, which is Geek Gaming Scenic's Patchy Plains. This was just so that it would dry while I slept like a responsible adult hobbyist. Got to get you a beauty sleep in, you know. Morning time, first job, base rims. We're going with a Mechanicus Standard Grey. If you're into black base rims, I highly recommend turning your hard drive into the police. Then the rocks on the base get a quick dry brush, first with a lighter grey, and then with something even lighter to pop the edges. Now the fur, easy stuff. We just dry brush a lighter version of whatever the original base coat was. I've just used lighter greys, browns and bone colours. It's dead simple, super fast, and it just looks fantastic. Furtastic. Honestly, this is one of those low effort, high impact paint jobs. They take hardly any time, but they really pop on the table. However, I do want to add some final touches to really sell that evil Angmar vibe. The eyes get hit with a bright red. I've used Evil Sun's Scarlet. It's simple but super effective for that demonic glow. Teeth and claws, classic bone colour, followed with a sepia wash. Quick and grimy. Inside the mouth, I've used a bit of Corn's red to make it feel all raw and fleshy, just like your mother's minge. Now here's something I don't normally do. Blood effects. I've just always avoided them until now, but let's be honest, if any model is going to deserve it, it's going to be a bloodthirsty werewolf. Or a vampire, I suppose. Vampire would be better. You know, I've always been kind of put off by blood effects because of how overdone they kind of get on Corn stuff. Like, I never really got why World Eaters are like drenched in blood 24/7, but every other Space Marine chapter kind of walks around spotless. It's just a really strange trope, I find. Like, all Space Marines are fucking murder machines, right? Surely everyone should have some degree of blood splatter on them. Like, I'm looking at you, Death Company. You know, they're literally called the Blood Angels, but no, it's just Corn. Just Corn get blood effects for some reason. I don't get it. I don't get that at all. Like, look at this. Look. Fucking, oh, blood splatter. Blood splatter. Oh, blood splatter. You know, why is there so much fucking blood splatter everywhere on the Corn models, but then you go to like Blood Angels. Oh, so pristine. Lovely, lovely. Oh, look at that. Where's the blood? They're called the fucking Blood Angels. Death Company. I don't understand the trope. It's just fucking stupid. Right, where was I? Sorry, I don't really know where I was going with that. Anyway, TLDR, blood is cool when it's used right, and I think these werewolves are a perfect excuse to go feral. So I grabbed an old battered brush, dunked it into blood for the blood god, and just kind of flicked it at the wolf. It's messy, very, very messy, but it gives an awesome chaotic blood splatter look. Honestly, it adds so much savage energy to the model. It's like they've just torn through a poor Arnorian traveller. Right, onto the prime spooky. For the base coat, I'm mixing 69 parts of contrast medium with 69 parts of thalassa blue. That's a 1-to-1 ratio if you're a normal person. So we're just going to coat the entire model in this mix. Don't worry if it gets on the armour or the sword, we'll deal with those bits later. Right now, we're just bathing these lads in ghosty juice. Once it's 100% dry, I go in with a very light dry brush of white. This just brings out all the spooky highlights. Sorry it's a bit out of focus, I still haven't mastered camera work. One day. Next up, lead belcher on the sword and armour. Of course I didn't film this either because I am a complete sausage, but I've just covered every single bit of armour with lead belcher. After that, I'm hitting the metallics with Null Oil just to settle into the recesses and grime it up a bit. You could also use Agrax here if you're wanting a dirtier look. Now here's a wee mistake I made. I only managed to paint half the belt. Good job me. So I'm going to go back in with white and just reapply it to the belt before applying the same blue wash from before. And look at that, 10 times better. Just a wee fix, big impact. You know, don't be scared to make mistakes. It's going to happen. It's going to happen. It's how we learn. It's how we learn. Shut up, John. Then gold on the goat. Then gold trim goes on the armour next. I feel given that a nice gold trim makes it, because he's the prime spooky, a bit more regal and a bit more prime spooky. I don't. You know what I'm saying. That then gets a Reichland flesh wash, and then I dry brush the whole armour set with Stormhost Silver. Honestly, the blue glow plus the kind of tarnished metal gives me some proper Angmar spooky vibes. I absolutely love it. But now, it's time for the orcs. And I've got plenty of orc speed painting tutorials on this channel already. I will link them as cards at the end. So I'm just going to do a quick wee montage instead. However, the big change this time, we are tweaking the theme and the colour palette. I still want these guys to feel evil, kind of manky, dank and old, but I want a more cultish, cold, northern vibe to match the Angmar army. So I'm going to work with the kind of dark and light blues to match the spirits already in the army and to give them a kind of eerie, wintry feel. I've already painted a couple of Barry Whites a while ago in the kind of spooky blue colour, and now that the prime spooky is done, I just want the orcs to kind of match this and tie in with this. The banner I did a while back was an absolute blast to paint, and the blue pattern really helps me tie it into the rest of the army. So all the base coat colours have been put in and they've been washed with Agrax and matte varnish. And we're just ready to do kind of final highlights, but before we do it, let's think about things. So we're using blue and snow, which is an amazing combo. It's going to look incredible on the table. But if you want to take your schemes from decent to fucking S tier, we really need to do some colour theory. Colour theory is what's going to push the scheme over the edge. And blue's contrasting colour, if we go to the colour wheel, is orange. And while that makes sense on paper, a bright, vibrant orange doesn't really scream Angmar to me. You're not wrong, it would look incredibly out of place. So the first thing I did to try and get some orange into the scheme in a backhanded manner was to use an orangey brown for the leather, so Mournfang brown. But honestly, it didn't quite cut the cheese. It just wasn't bright or vibrant enough, and it didn't pop like I was hoping. Then I had a brainwave, a true S tier genius idea, if I don't say so myself. And I do say so myself. And what do orcs have in droves? That is right, rust. Hunters and hunters of rust. And rust is orange. So I'm going to mix up some weathering powder here. This lovely orange weathering powder I got ages ago. Mix it with some water. And I'm just going to dab it randomly all over the armour and weapons. Then crucially, do not skip this step, as we have to give everything a dry brush with Stormhost Silver, with an old manky brush that you don't mind getting weathering powder in. That way the edges are going to be the crisp, sharp silver, and the recesses will stay orange and corroded and give it that lovely rusty metal look. You could also use Dirty Down Rust, but I've gone with a weathering powder in this instant. So just a quick montage of me dry brushing the orcs in varying different shades to add some lovely highlights to these grubby cultists. Then onto the bases. Nothing wild here. Just my usual Geek Gaming patchy plains, base ready, and then I used a mix of brown and kind of gold tufts to get that dried out winter's end look, you know, kind of dead, kind of beautiful. And then next step, Valhallan Blizzard. We're just kind of slapping this all over the base. And a big shout out to Stoff, Top Shagger, for this tip. Get it right into the tufts, push it in. Adding snow to the tufts is just going to take it to the next level, and it looks absolutely fantastic. I did run out of snow halfway through this, and I had to swap to the AK Interactive snow. I do think the Blizzard gives a better finish. Here's a comparison. In person you can see a little bit of a better finish, but it's hard to tell on the camera. But at about a third of the price, I think I'm going to stick with the AK, especially for today. And then that's it. Orc cultists fully painted, rusted up, and trudging through the frozen wastes. I couldn't be happier with the results. I'm just over the moon with you. So I've gone a bit kind of mad, and the project was finished, but I couldn't help myself, and I've printed off a couple more bits and bobs to give more options. So I've done a shade by the printing goes hours on. I've done a couple of KZK kind of zombie type, Spectre type lads. Done full command, 2 captains, a banner, a taskmaster, and a drummer. I know Angmar can't get them anymore, or even if they ever could, but just for the theme, they just look cool. You could just have them Sorry, it's so hot. I'm sweating like a... Right, so... Also done a wee shaman as well, because Angmar can still get shamans. So yeah, I shouldn't have done it, but you know, let's get cracking. So yeah, I did go a bit mad and added a little bit more command stuff and some more spooky boys. Look at them now, absolutely loving this army. The vibe is cultic, cold and chaotic, and I'm very happy with it. So let me know. But you know, you're the one watching this. You've given up your time to watch me talk absolute fucking shite. You need to be the judge. You tell me what you think of this Angmar army in the comments. The Hill Trolls, though, they are going to be saved for another Angmar project, specifically some Carn Doom fun times when I eventually get around to it. So that will be a future video in the future, as opposed to a future video in the past. Anyway, if you've listened to me for this long and you made it this far, well done. You're one. Yeah, well done. You really are a trooper. And don't forget to do all the usual YouTube shite, like give it a good like, drop me, fucking drop a fucking share, all that nonsense. It really does help the channel grow. And if you really like what we do here at JMax HQ, first of all, consider getting professional help. Second of all, consider joining my Patreon with a merry band of absolute shaggers. Get access to the free Discord with all these absolute beautiful people where we share our hobby projects. And, you really do keep the lights on at JMac HQ. I honestly couldn't do it without you guys, so thank you so much for your continued support. Oh, and if you like vlogs and batreps, go check out my second channel. It has a vlog on it. It's called JMax Battlefields of Middle-earth. It will be linked below, and there's a card at the end, so you can just click it on your telly if you're a lazy bastard like me. The first vlog is live on it, and it was a Noobs and Men crossover, and it's class. I took my Lothlorien, my beautiful, beautiful Lothlorien, to Dundee. Yeah, cool. I've waffled on long enough. This is fucking 35 minutes long, this audio clip of me just talking absolute fucking shite. I've got to fucking edit this. I'm not looking forward to that. Fuck's sake. Right, yeah, 35 minutes. See you in the next one. What kind of transition are we going for, guys? We've not done a... what kind of transition have we done? What about a seagull transition? Thanks for watching, everyone. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and remember to give my bell a good old ring. Hello and welcome to JMax. Fucking already fucked it. I'm just editing this, and that I don't know what it is. There's a white thing in my hair, and it's doing my fucking head on. So we're using blue and snow, which is an amazing. I don't think I fucking get it out till like there. That's when I find. What kind of transition? Get rid of it. However, I do want to add some final touches to really sell that evil Angmar vibe. Fucking hell. The Great Maw. I shouldn't have just ate my dinner before this.
Kill that whole family! Oh, we love it! Oh, yeah! Die, you son of a bitch! Yeah! Just blood! Oh, we love it!
Something was pouring from his mouth. He examined his sleeve. Blood? Blood. Crimson, copper-smelling blood. His blood. 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 And bits of sick.
Right, on to the prime spooky. Right, on... Right, on to the prime... Let's not do that again.